Hi, welcome to Conversations with Gen Z, presented by Church in Action.
So can you speak a little more to that statement of social media being toxic for you?
Woo! I can speak a lot about social media. Social media is the absolute, okay, let me say this. When you get past, so social media is bad news. Like, if you can never get a social media account, never get a Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, none of that, do it. Because what happens is you get way too caught up on, my post didn't do well. Oh no, nobody's liking my post. Nobody's retweeting. What's going on? My TikTok isn't blowing up. Like, where are my followers? You get way too involved in that. And then that just starts to weigh you down. And now it's like, I posted this really cute picture that I liked of myself, but it looks like nobody else is liking it. So in turn, it makes you think that picture was bad. That picture must have been ugly. And like, it took me a very, very long time to get out of that mindset of like, dang, like I'm not doing as well as all these other girls. Like these other girls are putting like these pretty, like they have pretty makeup on. They have like designer clothes on, all the best shoes. And they're getting like 600, 700 likes. And meanwhile, my posts are barely hitting 200. And I just sit there like, what's going on? But when you get past that hump of thinking that, then you start posting for yourself. But you got to get past that first. And it takes, well, for me, it took me a long time to get past not worrying about how people thought of what I posted and posting because I like the picture. I like the video. Like, I like what I'm doing. I'm going to post what I like.
Awesome. I would say it's more the want for approval.
That's good.
A lot of people in this day and age grew up with parents who weren't there for a long period of time. That work, other things that they had to do out in the world, and so people weren't getting the necessary amounts of approval that they would get from their parents, so they look for it in other people, and so that can play into the mindset of popularity being essentially royalty to most children growing up, and we grew up in environments that reinforce that, like TV shows, social media, and school itself. So if I feel like not a lot of people are approving of me, then how am I supposed to feel approved in myself?
Mentioned that absent parents, like they weren't able to be in a house for extended amount of times, and you weren't able to get the approval that you needed or the affirmation that you needed to feel, like you didn't have to get it somewhere else. That's something that goes on, that has been going on from generation to generation. How can your generation effectively stop that in its tracks before it hits the next generation? Because we want to stop that.
Us as a generation can start, if we have kids, we can start by always being with them and like showing up for them and like just supporting them to the best of our ability.
I agree. That's really good. So even like me as a mom, I think one thing that I would do differently is to affirm them every day. We always hear about these positive affirmations, just every single morning or every single night, just say something positive to your child. Or even if it's not your child, but you have a niece or a nephew or a little sister in the next generation, let's just start by doing that so that they don't have to seek it outside of.
You should never go to bed angry or in a negative mood. If you do, then your next morning is immediately going to start off terrible. However you felt the previous night, that's how you're going to start the next morning. And then everything you go on throughout that whole day, all you're thinking about is what happened the previous day, the previous night, whatever happened.
That's good. That's good advice.
What I do is like, sometimes I will be like, hey, like mental health check, like what's going on, like let it all out. Whatever you want to talk about, let it out. And I feel like that's something good to practice, like Like whenever I do become a mom or whatever, I definitely am gonna do that with my kids. Like I'm gonna be like, hey, like be real with me for a second. Like, not like to say like, we're friends, me and my kid friends, but I'm like on a friend level, like talk to me, like, because sometimes I feel like it might be intimidating to go to your parents and be like, hey, like I'm not doing well, because I feel like something for that, and they will like blame themselves for why they're happy, but it's not their fault at all. Like it's other things around them, like around the child, that's why they're not happy. It's not the parents' fault, but I feel like the parents take blame for that, and then they kind of get defensive. So it's not like open, like like an open floor where they can just talk about whatever they want to talk about. So I definitely will like exercise with my kid. I'll be like, hey, like mental health check, what's going on, tell me anything, what's going on with relationships, what's going on at school, let me know, let it all out, because that can change how you go about your week. Like, that can really help you a lot. I know it has for me when I do it, like my friends.
That's really good.
Definitely.
Saying, at least for me, like obviously I don't have children. I'm always working, so I typically don't talk to a lot of people, but I have a leadership role in my job. I am in charge of people while they are working. And
that's good.
I mean, 2 of my coworkers are here right now, and they'll even tell you, how many times do I ask you guys, hey, if you need someone to talk to,
that's awesome.
I don't feel like that's something that shouldn't be capable. Oftentimes, managers' job, that's one of your largest time consumptions. You're there 40, 50 hours a week. That's who you see. Yeah, a person in a leadership role should be capable of asking you, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? I notice you're a little down today. What's going on?